Welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Online at fppradio.com. You know what day it is. You know what that means. Yes, it's Wednesday. It's the day where I answer your questions. It's the day where you get to ask me anything. And I've got two interesting questions this week. And one of them is unfortunately premised on a myth, and I will explain that. And I'm sure as soon as I read the two questions, you will figure out which one is premised on a myth. The questions this week, and I just want to say before I give the questions, I just want to say that I really love you guys. You guys are awesome. You come up with these weird, strange questions that when I started doing an Ask Me Anything, I never imagined that I would be answering questions like what causes hiccups. Or this week, I'm answering the question, what causes a sneeze and why can we not keep our eyes open when we sneeze? I will answer the latter question first, and actually I can thank Jamie Heineman and the other guy from Mythbusters whose name I cannot think of Adam Savage is the other one. Adam Savage and Jamie Heineman of the Mythbusters, because they actually did an episode on this. And the myth is that if you keep your eyes open, when you sneeze, your eyeballs will pop out of your head. That's why you have to keep your eyes closed. And, well, they tested this, and what they found was it is, in fact, busted. So let me read from the Mythbusters website what they came up with. They said, you've probably heard this since school recess. Children have been warning allergy-prone classmates that their eyeballs would pop out if they sneezed. But can a forceful achoo really pop your eyes out? The Mythbusters put this eye-popping rumor to the test by forcing a few sneezes. Let's start with Anatomy 101. Your eyes are actually quite secure, and your eye sockets are not connected to your nose at all. So, although a sneeze can erupt from your nose at an explosive 200 miles per hour, it cannot transfer this pressure into your eye sockets to dethrone your eyeballs. Plus, there's no muscle directly behind the eye to violently contract and push the orbs outwards. Eyelids aren't big on muscle power, so even if they were tasked with keeping the eyeballs in place, they would fail at their job. So why do eyelids snap shut when a sneeze comes on, as if they're guarding the gate? Quite simply, it's a reflex. Yes, that's right. It's a reflex, and I think it's one of these subconscious things to where you close your eyes because you don't want the eyeballs to pop out of your head, even though your eyeballs can't pop out of your head anyway. Maybe it's not subconscious. I don't know. Maybe there needs to be some sort of weird experiment to where they find people that have never heard of this myth, ask them to sneeze, or make them sneeze in some kind of way and see if they close their eyeballs. But I think it's a subconscious thing. The Mythbusters here say that it's a reflex. They continue, the nose and eyes are linked by cranial nerves, so the stimulation from the sneeze travels up one nerve to the brain, then down another nerve to the eyelids, triggering a blink for most people. However, it is possible for some people to sneeze with their eyes open without the fear of losing their eyeballs. Now that your eyes are open too, you can see right through this myth. But let's answer the first question here about what causes a sneeze. And the answers here come from WebMD, where they actually have 11 facts about sneezing and about sneezes. They begin their article here, and this is one of those articles that I hate where it's on multiple pages. And I think the reason, yes, I realize I'm, taking time out of answering the AMA to rant about web design, but I think the reason that people do these weird multi-page articles now is so that they wind up getting more page hits and page views on their website, and that increases the ranking of the website and then garners them more ad revenue from whatever ad outlet because they're getting more hits. And I would dare say that putting an article on multiple pages is right up there with clickbaiting as far as web design sins, in my personal opinion. So they begin here at WebMD by writing, Larissa Stauffer of Melrose, Massachusetts, usually sneezes not once, not twice, but 3 times. And that doesn't seem odd to me because most people that I know will sneeze generally 3 times if they do. Like, if they sneeze, not just like walking down the street and then sneeze, sneeze, sneeze. Like, if somebody has a natural sneeze, it's generally more than one. So the whole 3-time thing doesn't seem odd to me. The story here continues. It says she sneezes as she gets into her car if it's sunny outside, but not when it's cloudy. Her dad does the same thing. And as soon as she pops some mint chewing gum into her mouth, out comes an achoo. Stouffer isn't the only one with a fickle nose. Many people sneeze at peculiar moments, such as after exercising, plucking their eyebrows, if they're in the sunshine, or sometimes people sneeze after sex. And that's something I've never heard of before. Something that causes me to sneeze. And I do this not because it makes me sneeze, but because I hate nose hairs. So plucking nose hairs will generally make me sneeze. And yes, I know that there's a reason that the nose hairs are there in the first place, but I hate them. So I pull them out. And yes, I know that there's things with little spinny blades that I could stick up inside my nostril, but no, I don't want spinning blades inside my nose. I would rather pluck out my nose hairs. And I've done that before with somebody around, and they're like, dude, why are you picking boogers out of your nose? And it's like, I'm not, I'm pulling out nose hairs. And they're like, that's even weirder. So, little known fact of the day about Darryl. Darryl picks his nose hairs because nose hairs are annoying. So let's move on here with the 11 surprising sneeze facts as compiled by WebMD. Number 1, sneezes start out in your nerves. This according to Dr. Neil Kao. I don't know how to pronounce that last name, Kao. He is an allergy and asthma specialist at the Allergic Disease and Asthma Center in Greenville, South Carolina. I will tell you how sneezes start in your nerves and 10 other unusual facts about sneezes when we come back on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. When her plush and comfy life suddenly and unexpectedly fell apart, Brooke and her dog Cloud set out to defy the odds. If this is a man's world, as they say, living on the streets is no place for a young woman. One day she awoke in the redwood forest and realized she had become a hobo, and would ultimately come to know exactly what it means to survive. How to Be a Hobo by Brooke Willett is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Coinbase is a simple and secure online Bitcoin wallet for sending, receiving, and storing Bitcoin. Coinbase also allows you to buy and sell Bitcoin using a bank account or use their tools to accept Bitcoin as a merchant. Opening a wallet is quick and easy, and for merchants, there are no transaction fees on the first $1 million worth of transactions. Get started at coinbase.fppradio.com. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and Numery supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $3 per month or any amount of Bitcoin per month, thanks to the recurring payment options provided by Coinbase. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's FANS.fppradio.com. Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Online at fppradio.com. Now, before I get back to telling you the weird facts about sneezes, I want to tell you a not-so-weird fact about precious metals. You can get precious metals from Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, and you could have been getting precious metals from Roberts & Roberts Brokerage for over 35 years. Since 1977, Roberts & Roberts has been a trusted source for buying and selling your investment-grade precious metals. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase order for all payments made in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on investing and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 850-478-5270 or visit them online, rrbi.co. That's rrbi.co. So how does a sneeze start in your nerves? That is the claim by a doctor whose last name I will not attempt to pronounce because I know I butchered it. It is Dr. The last name is spelled K-A-O, so however that is pronounced. He is a allergy and asthma specialist at the Allergic Disease and Asthma Center in Greenville, South Carolina, and he says everyone's nervous system is basically wired in the same way. He explains signals traveling along the nerves can take slightly different paths to and from the brain, resulting in different sneeze scenarios from person to person. He says, quote, "It's a nerve transmission that tells your brain something is in your nose that needs to come out. Sneezing helps keep your body safe." That is surprising sneeze fact number 2. The same doctor says sneezing is an important part of the immune process, helping to keep us healthy and sniffle-free. Sneezes protect your body by clearing the nose of bacteria and viruses. He adds, when something enters your nose or you encounter a trigger that sets off your sneeze center in your brain, which is lower, it's located in the lower brain stem, signals are rapidly sent to tightly close your throat, eyes, and mouth. Next, your chest muscles vigorously contract, and then your throat muscles quickly relax. As a result, air, along with saliva and mucus, is forced out of your mouth and nose. And that is how you sneeze. Now, I never knew that all of those things were happening in that millisecond or fraction of a millisecond that it takes for a sneeze to like projectile out of your nose. I had absolutely no clue that something in the chest contracted and then the throat closed and something and then at you. Didn't know. Sneezes are speedy. That doesn't really seem surprising to very many people, especially considering that when I was answering the second question about why can you not sneeze with your eyes open, that it said sneezes can travel up to 200 miles an hour. Patty Wood, the author of Success Signals Understanding Body Language, says that a sneeze can travel up to 100 miles per hour. And, well, 100, 200, whatever, it's moving pretty darn fast. She adds that a single sneeze can send 100,000 germs into the air. Plucking your eyebrows may make you sneeze. WebMD writes that plucking may set off a nerve in your face that supplies your nasal passages. As a result, you sneeze. And I would say that this also applies to nose hairs. If you pluck out a nose hair, it probably does the same thing, because when I pluck out nose hairs, I sneeze. Surprising fact number 5, you do not sneeze in your sleep. When you sleep, so do your sneezing nerves, which means you usually don't sneeze when you doze. Now, which is it, WebMD? Is it that you don't, or that you usually don't? Maybe it's one of those things to where you might think you're asleep, but you're kind of awake and you sneeze. But in either case, if I'm guessing if you're in like full REM sleep, that you will not be able to sneeze because the nerves are also relaxed, sleeping. Do nerves actually sleep? Can part of your body actually go to sleep the way when your brain something? Maybe. I don't really know. And that's something else that I don't understand. Like, I know I enjoy taking naps, and I've read things that basically, the human body is designed to where it could function 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So scientists are not really sure exactly why humans sleep, or why any animal, because really every animal in the world sleeps. So the whole thing of why we sleep is a mystery. But trying to understand all the levels of, because when you're asleep, and I realize that I'm getting off totally from the question, and I will divert myself back there, but, this is how my brain operates, to where something is said, and then I start thinking, and then I just want to talk about that other thing for a second. So when I'm asleep, I know that not all of my brain is asleep, because I'm still breathing, my heart is still beating, and in a lot of cases, whatever sort of subconscious part of my brain that causes me to dream is functioning, and I dream. So this says that the sneezing nerves go to sleep, but I don't think that that's actually what is happening. I think, if anything, it's the part of the brain that would respond to that is probably unconscious while you're asleep. Like, I don't really understand the whole intricacies of what parts of the brain shut down. Do they completely shut down, and how and what and why? But let's move back to the surprising sneeze facts with sneeze fact number 6. Your workout may make you sneeze. The doctor from South Carolina says exercise can make you sneeze. You hyperventilate when you're overexerted, and as a result, your nose and mouth start to dry up, so your nose reacts by starting to drip, which makes you sneeze. And I would say that just a drippy nose does not necessarily always make me sneeze, because, maybe because of the nose hair thing. So, the snot isn't tickling the nose hairs that are attached to the something that's attached to the sneeze nerve. Don't know. The longest sneezing spree, according to the Library of Congress, belongs to Donna Griffiths of Worcestershire, England. And I know I didn't pronounce that right. I can never pronounce that, like the Worcestershire sauce. Don't know how it's pronounced. I've heard it's pronounced Worcester, but that's leaving out a bunch of letters. 978 days of sneezing. Find out more about sneezing when we come back on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. The Doublespeak Dictionary by Leslie Starr O'Hara satirizes the marked difference between the ideal of we the people and the reality of we the elite, while offering an insightful glimpse into the clockworks of the totalitarian mind. Ever irreverent, but never irrelevant, the Doublespeak Dictionary serves as a subversive and humorous, but timely reminder that the emperor has no clothes. The Doublespeak Dictionary is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. ExpressCoin is the best choice for buying Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and more. ExpressCoin prides themselves on their customer service, so much so that the back end on the website should allow them to be even more focused on your needs. Get your cryptocurrencies with money order, check, wire transfer, or cash deposit. Get started at expresscoin.fppradio.com. That's expresscoin.fppradio.com. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for t-shirts, precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. There's an Amazon shopping iframe built into the website, or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Online at fppradio.com. Do zombies sneeze? No, that's not a question that will be answered in the 11 surprising facts about sneezing. That's a question that I have for Davi Barker, and hopefully he will answer that question in Survivor Max. Survivor Max is the tale of an 11-year-old boy named Max who must survive the zombie apocalypse alone in New Hampshire. The slow-moving, non-thinking, lame brains swarm his home searching for living flesh. Max must apply his Porcupine Freedom Scouts training to plan his escape, but first he must prove that he's too smart to die. Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read the reviews on Amazon, or you can read the first chapter for free at survivormax.com. That's survivormax.com. Now let's get back to the sneeze facts. We are on sneeze fact number 8. Sunshine may make you sneeze. Bright sunlight causes 1 out of 3 people to sneeze. The light sneezers are called photics. That's from the Greek word meaning of light. And in fact, light sensitivity is an inherited trait. Just one more thing we can blame on our parents. And this is something that I learned several years ago when the one and only time that I've ever gotten prescription eyeglasses, because I don't have the greatest vision. I've got 20/40 in one eye, 20/50 in the other, and the eye with the 20/50 has an astigmatism, which means that pretty much everything more than like 15, 20 feet away is going to be blurry. And there was a doctor that prescribed me prescription eyeglasses, and I wore them for about a week. And I went back and I was like, I think you gave me the wrong prescription. I'm getting a really bad headache. And he said, oh, you've got blue eyes. And I was like, what the hell does that have to do with me getting a headache from wearing these prescription glasses? He says people with blue eyes are generally more sensitive to light. And the way eyeglasses work to improve your vision, they also happen to bring in more light. And thus, that's why you're getting a headache, because blue eyes are more susceptible to the whatever. And long story short, after he told me wearing sunglasses makes me, more likely to get a headache, I was like, all right, screw this. And that's why if you ever see me and I'm outside, I'm generally wearing sunglasses because of the light sensitivity thing. It's not that I'm trying to protect my identity. It's because I'm sensitive to light. And I've also had a headache for the last 3.5 years, and that's made me even more sensitive to light. And yeah, occasionally I'll sneeze if I look at something bright, but it's not like an all the time thing. Like I walk outside, oh, there's the sun, sneeze, sneeze, sneeze. Doesn't happen for me, but I am sensitive to light. Number 9, and this is one that I have never heard of ever before. They claim that sex can be a trigger for sneezing. They write, have sex, must sneeze. It happens more often than you might think. Researchers believe that the stimulation of the parasympathetic nervous system fires off signals in some people to not only enjoy sex, but to sneeze when it's over. What is the sneeziest animal? You might be wondering. Never, because this is nothing I have ever thought of. Well, the sneeziest animal is an iguana. Iguanas sneeze more often and more productively than any other animal, according to Wood's research. I don't know what a productive sneeze is. Maybe it expels all of the bacteria from your body, but some of those bacterium are good, right? So why would you want to expel all of them? Maybe it only expels the bad. I don't know. Productive sneeze. I'm going to have to try to figure out what that is. But in the meantime, let me finish reading what they say about the sneezy iguana. Sneezing is how they rid their bodies of certain salts that are the normal byproduct of their digestive process. How do you stop a sneeze? While it is not foolproof, the doctor from Greenville, South Carolina, whose last name I will not attempt to say, says, try breathing through your mouth and then pinching the end of your nose. Now, what are some sneezing superstitions? Well, some people say that, let's see here, strange sneezing facts aside, there are some beliefs about sneezing that just aren't true. For instance, it's not true that your heart stops when you sneeze. When your chest contracts because of a sneeze, your blood flow is momentarily constricted as well. As a result, the rhythm of your heart may change, but it definitely does not stop. Something that was already answered, your eyeballs cannot pop out of your head when you sneeze. Most people just naturally close their eyes when they sneeze, but if they are able to keep them open, their eyes will not pop out of their head. The doctor from South Carolina says, while a person's blood pressure behind the eye may increase slightly when he sneezes, it is not enough to force the dislodging of the eyeballs from the head. And there's just a little bit more on this article, and I'm having to open that page now. And see, this is why I hate the weird multi-page article thing, because it makes for horrible radio when you have to say, and allow me to open this. The sneezing superstitions continued. Wood has heard of other sneezing folklore, including the notion that if you sneeze, company is coming over. If your cat sneezes, it's going to rain. I have never heard either one of those. As for the blessing many people say after someone sneezes, Wood explains that the Greek word for sneeze is pneuma, which means soul or spirit. Adding a post-sneeze blessing stems from the ancient belief that sneezing is a near-death experience and that a blessing will prevent your soul or sneeze from escaping your body and will deter the devil from entering in. Now, I know some people like to say the German Gesundheit when people sneeze. Other people will say, God bless you. I have come up with my own sort of thing to where I just say Gusenheimer. It's a word that, as far as I know, has no meaning, but it sounds close enough to Gesundheit to where it confuses people. And every now and then I will say bless you, and I'll give two, like, either two Gusenheimers or two bless yous, and then the third sneeze I say, okay, that's it, you're done. Because, the three sneeze thing, and I won't tell them bless you or whatever 3 times. Just I'll tell it to you twice, otherwise you're done. Hey, we're online, fppradio.com. Tune in every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and every Wednesday I answer your questions.